Hello, all. This is another PGN Fastcast for you. It is Monday the 14th, day 3 of E3. And it's a different tone for E3, right? I'm not sure if I like it. I'm on the fence. I'm coming to you pre-Capcom, right? So we're kind of holding out for that, I think. So I wanted to bring you this Fastcast a little earlier. Like I said, it's been a different tone. We had our, minds blown the last 2 days with announcements and excitement and content updates that are coming from Ubisoft, Gearbox, Xbox and Bethesda, Square Enix, things like that. Today's a little more different. It's Monday, and I think that E3's got a little bit case of the Mondays, but it's not a bad thing, right? Less focus on the announcements and more focus on the gaming community itself. So that's kind of the direction I notice E3 is going in today. And I understand that it may not be everybody's cup of medicine. It might not be their cup of tea. And there is some opposition out there. But I wanted to break it down for you just the same, kind of run through what we've seen up to this point, um, and go from there. So the first agenda item today was from Verizon. We had representatives from Verizon kind of come out and talk to us about their ultra wideband 5G network that they have and how this technology that they are bringing forward with their speeds and their network is really going to advance the technology that goes into making games better. So Verizon really pushing their product, which is expected. And they also pushed a partnership that they have with EA for future innovations coming to games like Madden and other sports games. And then their Verizon Game Forward Scholarship. And what they're really looking to do is drive an increase in female talent and female representation in the gaming community. And you'll notice that is a common tone for today about inclusivity, right? We want to get everybody involved in the gaming community, whether you're female, you're male, you're black, you're white, you're gay, you're straight. It doesn't matter, right? If you have the ability to create beautiful games or create beautiful content on Twitch or YouTube or wherever you're streaming, things like that, if you can do that, then it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter who you are and what you are. And that's really what you'll see from E3 today. But that was Verizon. They kind of started off by setting the tone. And it was a breath of fresh air. They were reading off a teleprompter, so it was a little chunky at times. And you couldn't stay focused as a viewer at times because you could tell they were kind of reading. But it was coming from a good place. After that, it was in television. And they announced their new console, Amico, which is, I believe they said German for something. It's a different console. It's got a screen and a controller. Think very Apple iPod type feel. It's got like a old Apple iPod, like it's got a rotating button that you can utilize on its controller with a screen. And it does have a downloadable app, it looks like, that will integrate with the console as well. Haptic feedback in the controller with motion controls. It's a different console. They're not trying to compete with Xbox and PlayStation and even the Nintendo Switch. This is more of a family-friendly console that you could get your grandparents probably even into. So it's not groundbreaking. The graphics aren't crazy. And honestly, there's no deep storied games you're going to see here. These are basic like dice games and very arcade feel. Simplistic games. There's going to be leaderboards and stuff like that. So you do get that vibe of competition and wanting to drive for, I want to be the best person in the state of California because you can look by state apparently as well. So there is a sense of competition. And games are going to be generally affordable, but again, they're not outstanding games. It looks like it's going to be about $10 for digital games. They are going to have physical versions of the games as well for around $20. And it is cool that you can carry your games with you. You could take your controller from your Amico system to a friend's house, slap it in their Amico system. Your games come with you. You can access all your games in your full game library on their console because you brought that controller. So that's a little different. I I did research after the conference because they said to pre-order, go to their website. They didn't give a price point. And I cringed a little bit. This console does look a little dated. It looks like it's refreshed and it's exciting and it's something new. I don't want to seem like I'm beating up on it. But I expected a healthy price that would drive up their market. And they're asking for about $250 for these consoles to pre order. And some versions actually upwards of $300. So I don't see the value in that when I can go buy a Nintendo Switch or an Xbox, not the newest Xbox, but an Xbox, and get, I could download Hasbro Game Night and still have a fun, carefree gaming experience with family and friends. So I don't know how that will do. I don't know if there's room in the market for a console like this. I really think they needed to blow it out of the water with the price point, and I don't think they did that. So, but that was in television, and we got to see what they have on tap. Take-Two Interactive. Now, I didn't realize this, and I was excited for Take-Two because big things could be coming. But they actually did a panel with multiple representatives, in the gaming world from different branches, representing different minorities, groups, and stuff like that, and really talking about inequality and having the tough conversation. They, empowering people how to do so, and the knowledge, and just opening up about these communities that really need the help to drive up kids who want to strive to become game developers and content creators and other things within the gaming world. For women, of course, LGBTQ community, that's important as well. These are all important communities that necessarily don't get the recognition that they need to strive in the gaming community like everybody else. And these were panelists that represented each of these communities, and they were talking and answering questions, and a lot of people were upset. I just want to tell you, if you were upset, pause for a moment, because I also was a little surprised at this panel. I did not expect it. I thought we were going to see games and announcements, but lo and behold, if you go and look, they've actually told us for a little bit this is what they were going to be doing. So if you came in here expecting games and announcements from Take-Two Interactive, as I did, again, I was blind to the situation. That's on you, and on me apparently too. However, I didn't forecast anything from Take-Two Interactive in my fast cast before E3 weekend, so I can't really take the blame for building anything up with them anyways. But yeah, it was different. There was a lot of hate in chat, and for those of you who are coughing up hate, two things for you. A, you don't have to watch, okay? Sure, you may have been upset that there was no games and announcements or anything like that, but you don't have to watch. Instead of coughing up hate and trying to choke the community with the hatred that they are literally talking about is in the world, step aside, okay? You are the reason these conversations have to be had. And that's the other thing. These conversations do have to be had. Is E3 weekend the weekend to do it? Possibly not. I feel like maybe this could have been an easier conversation to have on a different platform. But I understand why it needs to happen. And for that, Take-Two Interactive took the steps to do so. So that was different. Mythical Games. Mythical Games talked about a game that's actually been out in open, or beta rather, called Blanco's Block Party. And this is like a crazy world with mini games, and you can create levels and create worlds for people to participate in as well. But you actually collect vinyl characters that are in game, and you purchase them with currency, the NFT markets, and you actually own these characters. You can sell them. Like it's kind of like in the real world, right? You have a Pokemon card that's super rare, and you know there's only 30 of these cards in the world, right? And you have one of them. That's your card. It's the same thing with these vinyl characters that are actually playable characters in the game. When you buy something off of the shop in game, you purchase that character, and these are characters that are made by real artists, by the way, that they have contracted with, real artists and musicians and stuff like that. You own that character. That's your character. You then can play with them, You can then upgrade them. You can sell them and make a profit off of them, and that is yours to keep, that money or that character. You get them in a box. It looks like when you purchase one in game, you get them in like a little box, and they specified that usually when you get a collectible, a character, a pop figure per se, you want to keep it in the box so that it holds its value, of course. In this game, it's the opposite. You open that right up, you play with that character in game, and you actually level them up in a system called grading up, kind of like when you grade a figure. So it's different, it's cool, and it's a great way to, I think, make you feel like you own something and you're actually putting real value into a game. I go and buy DLC or cosmetics for a character in a game. I don't actually own that, you know, like I don't have that. I'm just, okay, well, now my character looks cooler, and that's that. So it's a new day in the gaming world, and I'd like to see more games kind of implement something like this. So very interesting. But other than that, for Monday, it was different. You know, it was different. Excuse me. We have the indie showcase, which unveiled a bunch of small indie games. A lot to be excited about, actually. I want to say I love that we live in a world where indie games can flourish so well and be so popular, and there's so much to be excited about. There's no shame in playing indie games. If you find a smaller game, an indie game, or an indie developer that you love, shout them out, you know? Share them for the world to see so that the world wants to go play those games. I think that's very important. And it drives up these indie developers to be larger developers maybe down the line. Who knows? So for that, though, there was a lot of beautiful games. Nothing I can speak on directly because there was so much. But go check out the indie showcase. And then later tonight is Capcom. So we know we got some Resident Evil stuff going on there. With Resident Evil Village doing so well, having the best sales of 2021 by any game so far. You know that they're going to talk about what's coming for that series at least. So tomorrow we close out E3 weekend, unfortunately. And like I said, today was a little bit of a snooze fest, but it was much needed. After, it's kind of like you ran a marathon the last 2 days, and you kind of needed today to recover a little bit. That's really the way they set this up. But tomorrow is Nintendo to wrap things up, and I'm expecting huge things from Nintendo. Huge things, guys. I think the fact that they're at the end of the show, this is going to be amazing. They're going to round this out nicely. And we're also probably going to talk about Capcom super quickly, okay? I know that's technically today's, it's a conference that's happening today at E3, but I wanted to get this fast cast going for you because there isn't a lot happening. I wanted to get this out there for you guys. And then tomorrow morning, we'll kind of go over Capcom, Nintendo, and round out E3 altogether. And really as a whole. So we'll touch base on Capcom and then jump right into Nintendo. But again, that's pretty much it for today. After tomorrow and our Fastcast is posted, we're probably going to take a few days hiatus. I have our first weekly update coming to PGN's YouTube channel at the end of this week. And what that's really going to do is that's going to encompass just pretty much weekly updates are news updates, okay? You're going to get the week at a glance, our big stories. There's a rapid fire session that's going to happen where I kind of take 3 minutes and I'm going to spit off all the biggest, or not the biggest because there's a big story segment, but a bunch of news for you in the course of 3 minutes super quickly. Then there's going to be some of the latest rumors, the good news of the day, because I'm all about positive vibes and news. So each session you're going to have the good news of the day, or really the good news of the week rather, not of the day. And it's going to be just kind of me telling you a good story in the world of gaming and something nice that happened, something nice that somebody did for somebody. And then streamer spotlight. I want to pick a streamer, whether they be big, small, known, not known. And I just want to give a shout out to them for the content that they're creating, what they're streaming, and then just wrapping it up generally with what's coming next for PGN. So that's going to be what you're seeing for weekly updates format when it comes each week. These are going to be coming. And then, of course, we have reviews that come on a monthly basis, hoping to bump that up. But monthly basis for now, because those, I do put a lot of work into my reviews. I need to make sure I have plenty of original game content, and I've thoroughly analyzed what I'm playing. And so we won't go much further into that. However, that's it for today, guys. Day 3 of E3, a little slower paced, a lot of tough conversations, and things that needed to be said, and a little bit about games, a little less about specific games, and a little more about the community that we all play our games in. But as always, thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. Like, follow, subscribe wherever you're listening to, and stay tuned for our Fastcast tomorrow as we round out E3 and see what Nintendo has in store for us. Take care, everybody. Be safe out there.